Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Real Legend of Gaming. We are here with Langrisser Mobile. Folks, this game came out a couple of days ago, and I actually have been playing it for a good amount of time. I wanted to release a review on the first day that it launched, but I figured it'd make more sense to release a review after I finished the tutorial, became more comfortable with all the game modes, and understand the mechanics of the actual game. So in this video here, we're going to go over a review, first impressions, and we're also going to give you some tips and things that I've noticed will help you along the journey in Langrisser Mobile. Alright folks, so let's check it out. Alright, so what is Langrisser Mobile? So Langrisser Mobile pretty much is a legendary JRPG for mobile platforms. Langrisser Mobile harkens back to the iconic JRPG series of the 90s. The game perfectly combines strategy and RPG gameplay with an innovative class transfer system, soldier system, and stunning battle effects that deliver a gorgeous gaming experience for players. So just envision Fire Emblem Heroes when it first released on mobile. The game was addictive, a lot of fun to play, but it did have its shortcomings, right? The gameplay itself wasn't as visually cunning as we wanted it to be, because if you consider the 3DS versions, it didn't come anywhere close to the story that was, embedded into the game. The characters didn't really resemble the way they looked. So, there was a lot of shortcomings with Fire Emblem Heroes. So now you bring in Langrisser Mobile, and this is probably one of the most amazing looking mobile games out there right now. And as far as functionality, everything is smooth. The gameplay is easy to understand. The combat system is very simple for new players getting into tactical RPG. So again, the game is an awesome addition to anybody who's currently playing mobile games. And if you've never had played a mobile game, then this is a great transition and a great insight to the future of how awesome mobile games will be. But that's a whole nother conversation, which I do plan to have in my next episode of Hanging with DRL. But back to Langrisser Mobile. So now that we explained more or less the premise of the game, let's show you some actual gameplay. So this is the world map here, right? As soon as you start unlocking different heroes, and believe me, it's easy to unlock heroes in this game. The reward system is very, very generous. And upon completing chapter 2 or 3 of the game, you will have enough vouchers to summon a new team, in which you'll have an opportunity to get heroes that rank from normal. From the highest I saw was SSR. So there is a rating system in the game. And I will go right into the summons because I know that's something that's really big in these kind of games here. So there's different banners. So if you play Dragon Ball Legends, the banners update pretty frequently. So right now there's 11 days left for the Empire's Hope, and it's actually a really, really good banner because it has 2 of the best heroes in the games. So Leon is supposed to be one of the best SSRs in the game, and then Bernhard is pretty solid too. Now this is just based off of what I've read on Reddit with the tier list, and also seeing other YouTuber videos like Julio Gaming, who's been diving into this game since it released earlier in China. So again, very easy to get vouchers. As soon as you complete a chapter, you'll get a Trinity voucher. There's challenges inside the game that you can complete through the events. So for example, you have Adventurer's Path, which gives you rewards just for logging in. So you see every day you get 1 voucher. Then you also have Battle Honor system, which rewards you based on what level you get in the game. And as you can see, it continues. There's different rewards that you get for completely different objectives. Then you have what's also called missions, which allows you to get even more rewards. You got daily challenges. Then you have your achievement system, and then you have feats as well. Now, as you progress later on in the game, you also unlock Path of Light, which gives you additional opportunities to earn items. So this event is going on for a certain amount of days. So I'm on 5th day here. If I happen to get my team up to level 25, then I'll unlock these XP potions, which we'll explain that as well, because the game does have an upgrade system, and it also has a system where you can equip equipment that is tier rated as well. Right, so that's basically the summoning system and the reward system. Right, those are things that I look for in the beginning when I start these kind of games, because mobile games do have a reputation for being very gacha. All right, so now that we got that out the way, these are your heroes, and like we discussed earlier, they have a rating system, and they also have star ratings as well. Once you collect a certain amount of shards of a hero, then you have the option to upgrade them. Now, there's different type of classes in the game. We'll look at Die Hard. And then you get information about the heroes. Certain classes have better stats in certain categories, but if you played RPGs, then you guys are pretty familiar with that. You have your tankier heroes. You have your heroes that have higher attack damage, intellect, defense, skill. And then they also have talents. So when building your team, you look at the talents and try to create a diverse team that has a little bit of everything. And at some point, you're able to upgrade your heroes to a different class. And if you were to upgrade your class, you would go right here. And it will show you the tree of how you can upgrade. So right now, Die Hard's a knight. You can either go Raider, Highlander, Swordsman, High Master, Royal Knight. So we'll go back to the heroes here just to show you the equipment. So you have different swords that have different stat attributes. The armor as well. You have your crest. So those are all things to consider as well. Inside your store, you have the option to buy more shards of a specific hero. And then you have other items that you can get as well. This guarantees, status attributes to your equipment. And then you also have the opportunity to buy skins, which I thought that was pretty cool. Now, for those of you that like to play with a community, there's also guild option, which you're able to open up once you reach level 25. So that's something really cool to participate in. You can find like-minded, players and grind it out and really have a lot of fun. All right, so now that we explained basically the fundamentals of the game, let's get into some gameplay. All right, so now we're at chapter 4. So this one's called Mightiest Knight. And the story itself is really good. Now, there's also a feature in the game that allows you to go back and revisit the beginning of the Langrisser series. Quick way to catch up on the entire story so that you really know what's going on behind the scenes and what led up to the events going on inside the current game. And you see, it's dialogue between the characters. And also the game has banter as well. So I know folks do enjoy that. I'm kind of speeding a little way through it. I'm reading fast so that you guys have the opportunity to see the gameplay. So it says something's about to be summoned. Okay, so I believe this is the time rift, and I think this is what I was just talking about. Certain highlights throughout the series of the game. All right, here's Leon. This is, from what I understand, to be one of the best versatile heroes in the game. All right, so you see this is your main screen when you start your match. This is where you select what heroes are going to be involved in this battle. So we're going to go for our core 5. Now, if you wanted to change, you just select the character and you just change them. Simple as that. All right, so now that once you get your team ready and you decide the formation you want to use, you just go to attack and you start. So the objective here is to take Leon's HP below 50%. Leon's obviously going to talk smash because he doesn't want to lose. All right, cool. So for those of you that are not familiar with this type of gameplay, with the tactical RPGs, positioning is very important. What the game does very well is that once you highlight your character, it does two things, right? The red boxes indicate where you can't go, and the blue indicates how far of distance your character can go and when it can essentially land as their final destination spot. Now, what the game also does is it will highlight what enemy you can attack, so you can actually position yourself right in front of them and get an attack in. It will also tell you if you have an advantage or a disadvantage. So it'll either say strong, which means you're going to be able to do a lot of damage against them and sustain damage back, and then weak, which will not be an ideal situation for your character unless you had no other choice. So for now, because we can't necessarily attack anyone with our archer, we're going to position them at a safer spot, which will be right there. And then we're going to bring in Die Hard so they can be a little bit of a tank for our archer. We'll position them right in the front line. I probably should have moved the archer maybe one slot back, but I'm not really going for a perfect setup here because my characters are a bit over leveled, so I don't necessarily feel that I need to worry about this match here. That's another thing too, is like when you can grind in the early going, you can put yourself in a good position with your team. Alright, so now we're in the second round. So that means one round, that means both our turns were used. Now on the map as well, there's treasure chests that you can move around. It is a good strategy to get the chests open because they have special items that you can obviously use in your journey. Alright, cool. So right here, we're able to do an attack with our archer. And you notice she has a good amount of distance in between her and the enemy. And we have basically 3 troops protecting her from damage. So this is actually a good opportunity for us to do damage. Alright, there we go. Wipe that team out. Alright, and some heroes have passive abilities. So in her case, Norm has an ability where after she attacks, she can reposition herself to another part of the map. Which we're going to do. We're going to move 2 tiles back just to avoid getting attacked from the enemies, because archers tend to be normally weaker on defense. Now we're going to bring Die Hard to the front line since he's our tank. And right there, we wipe out their entire team. And we're going to use Lance to wipe out this troop here. Now in this map, you necessarily can't see it, but certain stages give you an advantage based on the terrain of the map. For example, like if you're in the forest, there's certain stat attributes that can take place. You either get a boost or a nerf in certain categories. If you're playing on a mountainside, some heroes perform better while being hidden on the top of the mountain. So things like that, the game will teach you while you're playing. Alright, let's move over. Now, if you look on top of where it says stand, there's another icon. Those are your main abilities. So you have an opportunity to use those in a match as well, based on the conditions that are taking place. Alright, so we're progressing through this chapter. Again, all we need to do is bring Leon's life down to 50%. So right there, Matthew got destroyed by that. So he wasn't strong enough for that push per se. But between Lance and Die Hard, we should be okay. Alright, so we just had to shoot 1 soldier there. Here we go. Now, for those of you that did have the opportunity to pre-register for the game or to jump into the game on launch, and I think maybe the latest the day after, you could get Die Hard at no cost. It was a reward that was given. So if you did download the game when it released but you just haven't played, there might be an opportunity for you to get them. I can't necessarily guarantee. I'm not too sure on what the details were. Earn Die Hard at no cost and without doing a summon. I normally have a healer on my team. For some reason, I left them on the bench, but I think we're okay because as you can see here, Lance is going to do a strong attack against Leon. And look, we're wiping out most of his soldiers already. So Leon says, "You're brave. There is still some hope left in this world after all. Your strength has won the Langrisser's approval." Awesome. So Matthew immediately says that Leon could be the mightiest knight on the continent. So you see, he's pretty good. Alright, so you see right there, we unlock the time rift. And right there, you go to missions, and you'll notice that you'll have more rewards that you unlock. So this is the time rift here. This is different stories that we can visit. So we'll give you a deeper understanding of the lore and history of Langrisser and how it relates to your current mission. Alright, so folks, that is it. That is the end of the video. This actually ended up covering a lot for you guys because we did a review for Langrisser, a little guide, give you some general tips on how to play the game, and we also unlocked the time rift. So now we have even more to feature in upcoming videos, or probably what I'm aiming to do is just streaming it on Twitch. Alright, so other than that, appreciate the support. Peace out.